Welcome to Unit 9. So this is our first week of new material. We're going to skip over Unit 8 in the hopes that when we return to school in May, I can teach it to you then because it's a little bit more complicated and I'd like to be able to be in front of you to do it. So we're going to look at Unit 9, which is all about learning about functions. What we're going to do is take it really slow and we're going to do it one piece at a time. So for today, the goal is to look at what's called an input-output table. So this means that we're going to take an expression that's in terms of x, and we're going to input some values for x, evaluate it, and then whatever we get as an answer becomes our output value. This is later going to turn into some ordered pairs, and we're going to be plotting them. We'll look at functions and lines and all different things. But for today, all I want you to focus on is that we're going to be picking some x values. We're going to plug them into an expression, and it's going to give us an output value. Picture like when you type something into a calculator and you hit enter and it gives you an answer. Same thing. Now, if you look at my little animals over here, these are going to mean something to you. So there's another video that I'm going to post alongside this one. It's about 8 minutes long, which you're going to probably think, I'm not going to watch that. That's a waste of time. But it's probably the best 8 minutes of your life. So I would strongly encourage you to watch it. I'll post it. Maybe I'll post it every day. It's that good. It's worth it. All right, so let's get started. Our first expression is x plus 5. What this actually is y equals x plus 5. Right, so picture when you saw your Desmos calculator and I told you you had to type y equals to make it a function to graph it. Same concept. So if there's no x values chosen for you, I want you to be in the habit of choosing -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. The reason for that is because we're going to see what happens to this expression or this function when the x value is negative, when it's 0, and when it's positive. It just gives us a good idea as to what's happening all over the place. All right, I'm just going to be plugging this in. So what I like to do to start is just make that expression without variables through the entire table. So I'm not including the variable, I'm leaving it empty, and I'll be putting my x value in there. Okay, so the x value is also known as the domain. So my domain value is going to go in here. So -2 goes right here, and we just evaluate. -2 plus 5 is +3. That's my output. When the input or domain value is -1, evaluate. -1 plus 5 is +4. That's my output value. When I plug in 0, we have 0 plus 5 is 5. Plug in 1. 1 plus 5 is 6. And finally, my last one, I have a 2. Evaluate. 2 plus 5 is 7. So my input values were -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Those are also known as the domain values. And when we put them into our function, these are our output values, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, if I picked other x values, I would get different y values, but it doesn't matter because eventually we're going to be looking at the relationships between the corresponding x and y values in the table. Today, all I want you to do is plug them in and evaluate, so that's it. So let's look at the next one. There's no values picked, so we would pick -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. I'm just going to make that empty function table all the way down. Okay, and now we're just going to plug stuff in and evaluate. So when the x value is -2, the output value is -6. When my input value is -1, my output value is -3. When my input value is 0, my output value is 0. When my input is +1, my output is 3. And when my input value is 2, my output value is +6. So in this function, we have 3 times the x value. So whatever you plug in, we just multiply by 3 to get my y value. Again, later we're going to make these into ordered pairs, so it's going to correspond to a function that's on a graph. Today we're just making the tables, so that one's done. My next table, I've got more than one thing to do to my input value, so let's just take it one step at a time. Let's say there were some different values in this one. Let's say maybe we had like -4, -2, 0, 2, and 4. So we still have some negatives, some positives, and 0. but just different numbers. I'm going to make my empty function table all the way down. And now I'm ready to put my input values in. So I'm going to plug in -4 right here. Watch your order of operations. I've got 2 times -4, which is -8, minus 1 more, so -9. My next one, I have 2 times -2, so that's -4, minus 1 more is -5. I'm going to input 0. 2 times 0 is 0, minus 1 is -1. When I input +2, we're looking at 2 times 2, which is 4, minus 1, and that's 3. And finally, I have one more. I'm going to plug in a 4. 2 times +4 is 8, minus 1 is 7. So my input-output table is done, and I can see that when I plugged in a -4, we got -9. When I plugged in -2, we got -5. We can read all the way down that. So these are the domain values. These are my range values, which is the same thing as input and output. Like I said, tomorrow we will be looking at plotting these on a coordinate plane and just kind of analyzing what kind of graph it makes. So that is the lesson for today. So over here, this is what you guys are going to be working on. So at this point, you could pause the video, give these a try on your own, and hit play when you're ready. I'm just going to do these answers out, so don't look until you're done. All right, see you tomorrow.